Good evening, folks. How you doing? I'm going to make this video in response to a wee request I got from a guy called Patrick James Ong, who has requested a wee video on the 3-note per string scale patterns that we can get. So when you're doing these kind of 3-note per string stuff, it's important to know that a major scale consists of 7 notes before you arrive back at the 8th note, an octave higher than the root note. Because there's 7 notes in the scale, it means there's going to be 7 variations or 7 separate patterns you can make from each of those notes. So if we take the G major scale, we'll look at how the scale's constructed first of all. So we'll take this root note here at G on the 3rd fret. Now the second note of the scale is always going to be a tone higher than the first. So that's 2 frets on the guitar. The 3rd note is a tone higher, that's 2 frets again. The 4th note is a semitone higher, that's 1 fret. The 5th note, a tone, 2 frets. The 6th note, 2 frets, tone. 7th note, 2 frets, a tone, and then a semitone to take you back to the octave 12 frets higher. So that's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. Now it doesn't matter what note you start that from. If you start it from F, we're still going to follow tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, and you've got the F major scale. Cool. And from each of those notes, you'll have its own 3-note per string pattern. So if we go back to the key of G, I'll just talk you through the pattern shapes first of all. So the first pattern number 1, will start from the G note, that's the root note, and it goes 3, 5, 7, and then 3, 5, 7, and then 4, 5, 7, then 4, 5, 7, then 5, 7, 8, and then 5, 7, 8 on the top E string. So that's the first pattern. Starting from the first note. Now the next note in the scale was up a tone, and the second pattern goes 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 9, 7, 8, 10, and 7, 8, 10 on the top E string. If we take our 3rd note of the scale, up 2 tones, our 3rd shape from this note will start 7, 8, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, 11, 8, 10, 12, 8, 10, 12. If we start from the 4th note of the scale, it's up 2 tones and a semitone, tone, tone, semitone. The shape here from this note will start 8, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 10, 12, 9, 11, 12, 10, 12, 13, and 10, 12, 14. If we start from the 5th note of the scale, so it's up here in the 10th fret, we're going to go 10, 12, 14, 10, 12, 14, 10, 12, 14, 11, 12, 14, 12, 13, 15, 12, 14, 15. If we start from the 6th note of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we get the pattern that corresponds with this note, which is 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 16, 12, 14, 16, 13, 15, 17, and 14, 15, 17. And if we take the note starting from the 7th note of the scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we get the pattern that fits on the 7th note. So this pattern goes 14, 15, 17, same again, 14, 15, 17, 14, 16, 17, same again, 14, 16, 17, 15, 17, 19, and 15, 17, 19 again. And then you're back to the start, an octave higher, which will be back to the first position, first shape. Cool. So on each of those notes, it's sometimes an idea to, although they're separate patterns, they're still very much the G major scale. All you're doing is just reconfiguring the notes. So the notes don't change at all. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G again. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. And it doesn't really matter where you're playing that on any of those patterns. All you're playing is a group of those notes. So it's all the same notes all over the neck. It's just those 7 notes everywhere. So it's an idea just to keep the sound of the G major chord there, to always return to that root note so that you can hear the grounding in those notes. So if you play the first position, the first pattern, up and down, and then play the first pattern and then move the first finger into the second pattern and then play that up and down. And always go back to that G note, and then you'll hear that that's your home key. So if you play up to the 3rd note, up to the 4th note, up to the 5th note, up to the 6th note, up to the 7th note, you should be able to hear then that all the patterns are just all connected and they all resemble this G major sound. And to start kind of really using these patterns, you need to see how they kind of connect to each other. So it's an idea to play down one pattern, up to the next pattern, down that, up the next, down that one, up. So up position 1, slide up to position 2, down position 2, up to position 3, up to position 4, slide up to position 5, then climb up that, then climb up to position 6, and then down that, then up to position 7, then up to position 1, and you should see that the ending of these patterns, so where your second and fourth fingers kind of end here, is where that second pattern takes off. So these two here are the beginning notes of position 2. So climb kind of halfway up one pattern, move into the next pattern, move into the next pattern, so we're trying to break out of that idea. You can learn them as separate individual boxes. So you've got one pattern here, one here, one here, one here. But the idea is to then try and get away from that. Put the first 4 notes on the bottom string, and then the next one with 3 notes, then slide up to the next one. That's you in position 3 here. So you're just connecting all these patterns as much as you can. I'll edit that one out. So although you've got 7 individual patterns, you're trying to just see how they're all connected. And it's probably an idea to look into the kind of theory side of things behind this, as to what the chords are in the G major scale, which I'll cover that in a different video. So any chords that you're moving here, any backing track that you've got that has the chords G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor, any of those kind of chords. So if you've got a backing track that's kind of moving like that, any of those chords, all those chords belong to the key of G. So all of these notes are going to work over that, whether in the key of G or the key of E minor. So you can stick a backing track on and just get used to kind of playing these shapes. And just kind of weaving them in and out of each other. And I wouldn't worry too much if you're just getting into this and you've never kind of played these 3-note per string things before. The idea is just to kind of see how they're connected, and don't treat each of them as its own separate thing. It's all one big thing. So yeah, the idea of just kind of moving. Is where you're kind of looking to get to. So I hope that kind of answers some questions. You can then look at kind of how you're playing these scales. by any way you mess these notes around. Will also be fine over your backing tracks. You don't need to kind of stick to the notes just ascending up the way or just coming back down the way. Any way you play these. They'll all work. So it's just about getting familiar with the shapes and then experimenting with different fingerings and different ways of connecting all these boxes together. Alright, well, I hope that kind of clears some things up for you, Patrick, and I will speak to you soon. If you get any more questions, don't be afraid to give me a message, and I'll see what we can do for you. So thanks very much, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye folks, bye.